up, guys? Alchemist saying something nice for you. So I have another build for you guys. Last time I had Bow Down Peasant with the Queenbreaker exotic, blinding everything, making activities super easy, disorienting everything for like 12 seconds, and then looping it. Insane build. If you haven't already, check that build out. Today I have a new build called the Navigation. The Negation. The Negation. I messed it up. The Negation. Back to you, Tom. Okay, as y'all probably already know why, because of the Navigator. I was tired of looking at these titans with this god dang exotic gauntlet of theirs that when they block they get ×4 resist and it gives them restoration, making them invincible. I was tired of the titans having all the fun. I'm a hunter, man, so I wanted to figure out a way to make it that hunters can be invincible and immune to damage. And I was sleeping on it. And then I had an epiphany, an aha moment came in my head. I was like, is there a way to have Woven Mail with the resist from Stasis on it? And then I remembered I had this exotic in my vault collecting dust that I never used called the Navigator. If some of you guys don't know, the Navigator is a exotic from a dungeon, the deep dungeon, the one going underwater and crap. This is the exotic you get from it if you're lucky for it to drop for you from the last boss. And basically what it does is firing this weapon at an ally grants Woven Mail to both the user and the target. Not only that, dealing sustained damage severs the target. Okay? Now, I thought at first that I needed to shoot my teammate to get Woven Mail. But what they don't tell you with this exotic is, in actuality, shooting the weapon gives you Woven Mail. Holding a sustained fire on a target gives you Woven Mail. You do not need a teammate in order to get Woven Mail with this exotic weapon. I don't know why they don't tell you in the description. I don't know if that's a bug. My bell finna go off. So it was an aha moment. I had my brothers and them help me test this. So some of the footage I show you guys, but I don't actually need it because I can do it myself, which makes this build even more excellent. So because of this exotic that no one uses, this exotic makes it that if you stack Woven Mail with the resist that you get from standing near crystals in your stasis build, you essentially become immune to damage. Now I notice a lot of builds after that do it. The Titans doing it with their exotic arm piece. I'm forgetting the name right now, but y'all know which exotic arm piece I'm talking about when they block the sword. They get restoration with it as well. I know about the whole Viscalibur, but I'm not a glaive user and never will be a glaive user until they buff that ish up. So this was the way I thought of having an aggressive build while also being immune with the build. So let's get into the build. First, let's start with the fragments. First, you want to have Gambler Dodge or Marksman Dodge, up to you. I'm using Gambler Dodge to get my shurikens back more so I can just keep throwing them and slowing targets so I can make more stasis crystals. But I can understand Marksman Dodge as well because I hate reloading, and with this build you will have a lot of moments where you want to reload quick and dodging will help out. So dealer's choice, triple jump, but again, whatever jump you prefer, but I'm a triple jumper. You got your shuriken. Whenever you toss at somebody, it slows them. If you throw 2 shurikens at an enemy, it instant freezes them. So keep that in mind. Dustfield Grenade gonna be the star of the show here because we are using Renewal Grass as our exotic for this build. So Dustfield Grenade would definitely be the one that you have on, nothing else. We got Touch of Winter, which enhances our grenades. So this will make that the Dustfield Grenade has a bigger radius, and it put a stasis crystal in the middle of it, which is phenomenal for Whisper of Chain that give us resist when we're standing near a frozen crystal or a frozen target. And then also put on Grim Harvest, so when I kill slow the frozen enemies, it creates a stasis shard that I can pick up to give my shurikens back quicker, but also because I have the fragment on where if I pick up a stasis shard, I get an overshield. Whisper of Rhyme. So, fragments that we're rocking. Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. And then if you keep break crystals, it refreshes that time. It's like 10 seconds, I believe. The recharge rate is insane. I don't notice the stats on it. It's probably like 100%, 200%. But you notice it. When you destroy a crystal, you get your grenade back very fast. You see the charge going up quick. So this is essential. In case you're a lazy person that don't like running to pick up your stasis shards, you can also put on the fragment that make it that stasis shards attract to you. Whisper of Conduction. Yeah, stasis shards attract to you in case you don't want to run and pick them up to get the shards that go give you an overshield, which is important. But I highly recommend you getting your grenade back essentially uptime 100%. So I highly recommend this shard over being lazy to pick up your stasis crystals. In lower end content, yeah, you could put on Whisper of Conduction, but on higher end content, you 100% want to have on Whisper of Shards so you have a 100% uptime on your Dustfield grenade. Whisper of Change, like I said, when you're standing by a frozen target or a frozen crystal that you made, you get resist ×2. With Renewal Grasp on, that becomes resist ×3 when you're standing inside your Dustfield grenade. Like I said before, Whisper Rhyme, collecting a stasis shard give you an overshield for 10 seconds. You keep picking up shards, it refreshes that timer and gives you more of an overshield. In case you don't know, you get stasis shards by killing debuffed targets. So stasis debuffs targets. So if they slowed or frozen when you kill them, it will make stasis shards for you to pick up. Whisper Endurance. This is important. Slow that applies to the target lasts even longer, and if you use an ability that does slow, the duration is even longer. So this makes it that our Dustfield grenade stays out even longer than if we didn't have this fragment on. And then we have Whisper Torment. This Whisper Torment is just as good as the Strand fragment generation, but it's just a coin flip. So Whisper Torment is when you take damage from the enemies, you get grenade energy, and you get chunks of energy getting shot by enemies with this fragment on. This fragment is the epitome of what the Strand generation fragment was before Bungie nerfed the amount of grenade energy we get back from dealing damage with Strand. This one is like pre-nerf of that fragment, and you get a lot of grenade energy while taking damage, helping you have, I kid you not, almost 100% uptime on your stasis Dustfield grenade, as long as you do it right. Now, we'll be rocking the Navigator, like I said. When you're shooting sustained fire at an enemy with this, it gives you weapon mail, and it severs the target that you're shooting at. Your energy weapon is optional. You can go for solar weapon, so you can still abuse the artifact mods that give you radiant and whatnot, or use any weapon in your energy slot for champion mods inside the artifact for barrier, overload, or unstoppable. And your heavy is up to you as well, optional to whatever you want to do. I did beta switch grenade launch from trials to Strand because I'm rocking a lot of Strand here with this stasis build. But you also can run a solar energy weapon, so you can have stasis going on, Strand going on, and solar going on. It can be a rainbow build. I swap between Indebted Kindness and my solar bow when I'm using this build. Armor mods. Armor mods, you can have on Strand Siphon, so when you kill people with the Navigator, you have orbs coming out, which is good for the artifact mod, because when you pick up an orb of light, you get unraveling rounds. So now you're shooting with the Navigator doing unraveling rounds to all the targets in the room, and anybody you shoot, to the Horde shuttle, anybody you shoot while they unravel create threat lanes. So now when you're shooting Navigator, you're giving yourself weapon mail. You're literally doing all the Strand vert. You're giving yourself weapon mail. You're severing the target that you're shooting. You're unraveling them, and you're making threat lanes from that unraveled target. You're doing all of the Strand verbs. It's insane. And the Navigator do a lot of damage. It's not like, oh, this does weak damage. It does pretty great damage as a trace rifle. We got Renewal Grasp. If you don't know the effects of Renewal Grasp, Dustfield grenades have even much larger effect radius that does stack with the aspect that hunters use. So this making that dust field grenade is even bigger. I think it's like 75 meters or maybe bigger than that, but it's very big. And allies inside the dust field grenade takes reduced damage, which give them +2 resist. And then if you have on Whispered Chain, that gives you +3 resist because you're standing near the stasis crystal that you made with your dust field grenade because of our aspect that makes it that we got enhanced grenades. See, it's all coming together. It's all combos, man. And targets inside the area deal reduced damage. So any enemies that's inside the dust field grenade deal less damage to you. I'm getting to the numbers after I go through all the mods. You got resist mods. Resist mods are very important. Okay, you got the arc resist mods, and you got the sniper resist mods. Resist mods. Okay, I don't need to go through every element. Resist mods. People sleep on resist mods, and people are kind of confused how sniper damage resist and melee damage resist. It's not actually literally what they tell you, by the way. So sniper damage resist, you resist damage coming that's shooting at you that is 29 meters and above. It may be 30 meters, okay? 30 meters and above, you take reduced damage with the sniper damage resist mod on, and with the melee damage resist mod on, any damage that you're taking that is 3 meters or closer, you take reduced damage. So if you're rocking like a melee build, then you'll put on melee damage resist because you're gonna be punching enemies close to your face, which is less than 3 meters, so you take less damage from them. And then in most content, when you're shooting far away, sniper damage resist, you kind of want to have on all the time for that extra resistance to damage. And it does stacks with the elemental ones as well. That is very important. People think 30 meters is far. 30 meters is not far at all. I'm trying to put some footage right here on the screen. But 30 meters is not far at all. So most engagement that you do in PvE, the enemy is 30 meters and further away from shooting at you. So sniper damage resist always gonna work, and you just stack it on to the elemental one that you got on. And then of course you got concussor dampener that makes that splash damage, explosion damage, do less damage to you. But yeah, sniper resist I see people sleeping on. Very important in your chest piece. Leg piece, we got recuperation, so we pick up orbs of light, we get health back. Because when you pick up shards, stasis shards, it automatically start doing health regen. So it's like better already when you pick up a stasis shard with the fragment on. So I put on recuperation, so pick up orb of light, I get a chunk of health instead. I put on strand surge, and I'm rocking 2 strand weapons. And I put on innervation, so when I pick up an orb of light, I get grenade energy back. It's like 10%. So, you know, keep killing people with strand, you make orbs with strand siphon on, help you get your grenade back even quicker. Like I said, uptime on a grenade is a lot. Oh, I didn't even go past mods on the arm piece as well. Grenade kickstart, whenever I throw my grenade, when I have an armor charge on, for picking up the orbs of light, I get grenade energy back. It's different percentages based on how many armor charges I have at that moment. Just know it helps to get the grenade back even quicker. A mental transfer, when I throw my shurikens people, it reduces my grenade cooldown as well. And then causes damage to my melee. And then the opposite as well. Causing grenade damage to get my melee back. You know, two different, you know, parallel to each other. And then class item. Class item, I got on outreach and bomber, so whenever I shade step, I get some energy back from my melee and grenade. And then I got reaper on, so whenever I shade step, I make an orb, whoever the next person I kill. Now, let me get into the numbers for you. And then also show y'all the footage on why I'm taking no damage in this footage while it plays in the background while I'm talking over it. So, Woven Mail gives you 45% damage resist. Okay, that's Woven Mail. Armor mods give you 15% damage resist. If you have 2 on, that's 25%. If you got 3 on, that's 30%. So I put on 2 armor resist of elemental based on whatever activity I'm on. If I'm going against people, a lot of people doing arc, I put on 2 arc resist. If I'm going to people that use solar, I put on 2 solar resist, etc., etc. So I put on 2 solar resist in the footage in the background because I'm fighting Cabal using solar. And then I also put on sniper damage resist because they were 30 meters away from me. Or if I was fighting unstoppable, I swapped it to melee damage resist, so I take even more less damage. They do stack. So because of me having 2 solar resist on, that's 25% damage resistance, stacked on with sniper damage resist, that's an extra 15 damage resist. with the 25%. So now we got within mail 45% damage resist. We got the armor mods giving me 40% damage resist. It's rough math, okay, but 25% plus 15% damage resist. Okay, I'm just adding percentage. I don't know if button do additive or multiplicative. But yeah, we're just gonna say 45% damage resist, 15% damage resist, and 25 damage resist. Okay. Overshield from the shards. The overshield we get from the stasis shards make it that we take 50% damage resist. So as long as we got that overshield on us, we are taking an even more damage resistance of 50% from my character, from the enemies. So now we got 45% wolf and male damage resist, the damage resist from the armor mods, and 50% damage resist from the overshield that we got from the stasis shards that we can always get from just applying slow or killing frozen targets. Then we getting 40% damage resist from Whispered Chain from standing near a stasis crystal or frozen foe enemy. So now 45% damage resist from Wolf Mail, damage resist from armor mods, damage resist from the overshield, and then damage resist from Whispered Chain standing by a frozen target or a stasis crystal. Then we got Renewal Grass that does 25% damage resist from standing inside the dust field grenade. So you're standing inside the dust field grenade that gives you 25% damage resist, and then you get 40% stacked on damage resist from standing near that stasis crystal that you created with that dust field grenade. Now, this not even including the fact if an enemy is inside the dust field grenade, they do 50% less damage to us. The enemy does 50% less damage to us while we inside the dust field grenade. Hold on, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. With the Navigator, when you do sustained fire to an enemy, they get severed. Sever does 40% damage debuff on enemies. So as long as the enemy is severed, they do 40% less damage to us. So now let's put this all together. Wolf and Male is making it that we take 45% less damage. Armor mods is making us take 25% and 15% less damage. Okay. The overshield we get from stasis shards making it that we take 50% less damage. Renewal Grass and the stasis crystal that we stand by with Whispered Chain on is making us take 40% and 25% less damage. Those are just the damage resistance that we're taking for us. Now the debuff that we're doing to the enemies with the damage that they're trying to do to us, Sever making it that the enemy is doing 40% less damage to us, and if they are inside our dust field grenade, they are doing 50% stacked onto that less damage to us. And then this is not including when we slow enemies, they have less accuracy, so they missing a shot, and we're freezing enemies, making it that they immobile with the dust field grenade and the shuriken. It's just pandemonium. And this is not including the artifact mods. With this build, you can rock the Strand and Stasis artifact mods. So when you pick up an Orb of Light, you get Unraveling rounds, which I already told you about with the whole Strand. But I didn't even go into the fact that we got the Stasis mods as well. When we defeat a frozen target, they create Stasis crystals. They make Stasis crystals, so that's even better. I believe Stasis crystals is the shards, right? Stasis crystals are the shards. I'm 100% right? Stasis crystals are the shards, right? I'm not tweaking, right? No, Stasis crystals is the crystals that we make for Whispered Chain. Yeah, okay. So, as we kill frozen enemies, they make crystals for us. Them crystals give us resist. Not only that, them crystals that lay there after we just kill a target, we can destroy those crystals to activate Whisper of Shards. That make that we can get our grenade energy quicker to get another dust field grenade. Not only that, then we got Hail the Storm. Hail the Storm, whenever we destroy a stasis crystal or do shatter damage with frozen targets, it make it that it shoot out stasis crystals that hit nearby targets that slows the targets and increase the shatter damage, I believe. Yeah, stasis crystal deal increased damage. So it all just plays together. You're doing stasis, you're doing crazy stasis stuff, you're doing the crazy strand stuff because of the Navigator. So now you got threatlings out there, you're breaking crystals, doing shatter damage, you got enemies being unraveled everywhere, you got freaking enemies being slowed and frozen, you got threatlings crawling around hitting people. When you break them crystals, like I said, the stasis crystals going to enemies in the room, hitting them with slow. It's just pandemonium with this build, and I love it. And then also I got on Dragon's Bite, so when I do shoot the Navigator at an enemy and break their shield, there's a chance that they will get suspended into the air, which is the missing verb that I was just speaking of with strand. You're doing every strand debuff or verbiage in this build with every stasis verbiage. And if you wanted to stack on the solar with the scorch and the radiant, you can put on a solar weapon. I even have a solar sidearm that has heal clip on it, which makes this build even more OD. It's crazy. So if y'all wondering, does this build work in higher content? Yes, of course. Why would I make a build that doesn't work in higher content? I have solo, master, low sector at the end of the video. But you deal with barrier champions with your sidearm, or you use a solo weapon, get radiant. While you're radiant, you know, you can go against any barrier with any weapon and they'll break their shield down. Or you pick up an orb of light, you get unraveling around from the Navigator, and the Navigator can knock down a barrier shield. So you got three ways. Three ways. Sidearm in your energy slot. Unraveling around, so pick up orb of light with Navigator. If you're rocking a solo weapon, get radiant first by getting precision hits, and then you use it. Unstoppable, self-explanatory. You're on stasis. You freeze them, shatter damage stuns them. Just freeze the goddamn unstoppable, and you stun them. If you're rocking a bow like me, you can rock an unstoppable bow as well. But just freeze the unstoppable, and the shatter damage will stun them. Okay. And then overload, self-explanatory, you're on stasis. Throw your dust field grenade, it slow them, automatically stuns them. Slow stuns, overloads. Boom. Every champion dealt with. So I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background of me showing you how tanky this makes you in higher end content, how you can solo, how to make you immune to damage. And I want y'all to keep in mind, the gameplay in the background is not even me optimizing the build to its full potential. And what I mean by that is, like, there are plenty of moments where the enemies were shooting at me and I was taking little to no damage. I was taking no damage. They were doing little damage to the point that the game was still healing my health bar up because of how minuscule the damage they were doing to me. Or the damage was just so little it didn't matter to me because I'm going to survive, right? And that was just me doing the combo of being in a dust field grenade to get ×3 resist and having Woven Mail on with my armor mods that give me more resistance. That's it. This not including me doing sever most of the time. I sever only the champions that make them do less damage. But the other enemies, they was doing little to no damage to me without being severed. This not including me having an overshield on with the stasis shards that give me 50% less damage from enemies when I have that overshield on. So most of the time you will not see me with a stasis overshield on to make them do even less damage to me. Most of the time the enemies that shooting at me, they are not inside the dust field grenade, meaning they're not doing 50% less damage to me. So this not even me optimizing everything in this build, but this just goes to show that this build is not complicated. Even a casual player can use it without having to overthink how to use the build. You can play the build normally, because I know people hate overcomplicated builds. You can play this build normally and still feel like an immune tank and still feel like you're destroying ash like crazy in the room with freezing everything, slowing everything, unraveling everything, threatening everything, Woven Mail, sever, just every verbiage. It's a blast, okay? This is a fun build. I love using this build. And if you want to know how to use this build, make sure you pay attention to the gameplay. The loop is you run into a group, you see a group of enemies, you throw your dust field grenade at the group of enemies, you jump inside the dust field grenade, them enemies gonna be frozen, You kill them enemies. You get your shards from that, from killing a group of enemies. It gives you an overshield. If enemies shooting you from a distance, you most likely taking no damage because you killed them frozen enemies with the Navigator. The Navigator gave you Wolf and Mail. You got them shards inside your dust field grenade, giving you Stasis Crystal Shard, giving you that overshield you need for less damage. You still standing near your crystal inside the dust field grenade. You still getting that resist times 3 inside dust field grenade. When your dust field grenade disappears, destroy that Stasis Crystal to activate your fragment. And you should have your dust field grenade back immediately, okay? If not immediately, in the next 2 seconds. And then you continue that loop. You throw that dust field grenade at the next group of enemies. You jump at the dust field grenade, wrench, wash, and repeat. If you're going into champion, shoot Navigator at them, sever them, get Wolf and Mail, stand inside your dust field grenade, or throw your dust field grenade at them and fight them inside your dust field grenade with your crystal near you, giving you resist. They will be doing no damage to you. Handle the champion how you supposed to handle the champion based on what they are. You're invincible, okay? You are good, okay? You're not invincible. It's not like Titan's restoration, but you're unkillable, okay? And this not even including the fact that Bungie have not buffed up Stasis yet with the new verbiage, okay? So we don't even have the new stuff like Frost Armor and stuff. This is like the lowest of the low of this build right now. If Frost Armor end up giving Stasis a way to get resist times 4 that used to be in the game post Grandmaster nerf, then I'm gonna be dumbfounded because this build right here I just made gonna make you invincible. If we get resist times 4 in Stasis when they get buffed up, we're unkillable with this build. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build. It won't be as broken when this season ends because we won't get the unraveling rounds and threatlings from the artifact. But it still would be unkillable. That doesn't change anything. It's just gonna lower the ad control kills with everything going on, picking up Orb of Light. But you still gonna get the Wolf and Mail, invincibility, standing near your crystal, and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this build. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. Enjoy the master low set I did at the end. Until next time, stay up.